All right, this is the second video for the notes. Okay, so this should be the fourth video overall. Okay, so fourth video, second for the notes. So if you haven't seen the first one for the notes, go watch that. It's only 11 minutes. Go watch it. Okay, so this is the continuing on from there. Okay, so we just talked about population interactions and how that affects carrying capacity. Now we're going to go into community interactions. So these are going to be more common things you guys have heard of as far as different species interacting with each other. Okay, so community interactions, we have three types. We have predation, competition, and symbiosis. Okay, those three. Moving forward, predation. Okay, this is a very common one you've heard. You might have heard it as a predator-prey relationship. Same deal. Okay, predation is the act of one organism killing another for food. Okay, so an organism is going to kill another one for food. As we can see up here, we have a gazelle. Gazelle or an antelope? Pretty sure it's a gazelle. Might be an impala. I don't remember. With a cheetah, as it were. Okay. They're going to be in this picture showing a predation relationship. Okay. Another thing you can think of, because it's any organism, right? Herbivory, the process of an herbivore eating a plant, is also predation. I know a cow grazing is not going to be as exciting as a cheetah chasing a gazelle across the Serengeti. However, it's the same thing. Okay, predation is happening. Just the plant doesn't move. What this can lead to, this relationship can lead to co-evolutionary relations. And we see that in our bottom part here, okay? So what this is showing down in this graph here is it's showing population growth over time, okay? And what we see is as a prey population is increasing, we're going to see that the predator population is going to react to that. Okay, they're going to increase as these are decreasing. But as the blue reaches its peak, there's going to be less prey available at that same time. So because of that, more of the predators are going to die off, which is going to allow for more prey to grow, which is going to allow for more predators to grow, which is going to allow for prey to die, which is going to allow for predators to die, so on and so forth. They follow each other, okay? So this co-evolutionary relationship, okay, and evolution is, again, just the change over time, okay? What this allows for is allows for animals or other species to develop different mechanisms that make it harder for them to die, okay? So as prey become harder to get, whether that be they run faster, they develop different mechanisms or different ways to disguise themselves, it allows for the predators to have to adapt to that. Okay, they have to become faster. They have to be able to distinguish between leaves and the prey. They have to become smarter. Okay, those different things. That's the coevolutionary relationship. As one thing changes, the other thing has to change as well. Okay, so they have to be in sync with each other. Okay, so some of the ways that we see how things survive in the wild are kind of crazy. They're a little different to me. Okay, one thing that most people know is camouflage. Okay, so up at the top, what we see is we see those four pictures, four different animals with different ways of camouflaging themselves. We see a butterfly in the red, an owl in the white, a frog in the green, and a crab spider in the yellow there. Okay, so you can find those out. Camouflage can be used to blend in. Okay, but camouflage can also be used to mimic things. Okay, everyone has seen stick bugs before or leaf insects. Those things mimic other parts of the ecosystem around them. Okay, the plants around them, so that they don't get eaten. But one way that I found that was really cool is this moth. Okay, this moth, it's held upside down, but it mimics eyes that kind of look like an owl, so that when a predator comes, it can flip its wings up and make it look like an owl for a brief second, allowing for them to fly away while their predator is a little more confused. Okay, I thought that was really, it's almost striking how similar it looks to like a little bit of an owl. Um, anyway, yeah, it mimics what an owl looks like. I don't know how it developed that or how it learned how to do that, but man, it's crazy science. But another way that things can survive is through repellents and toxins. Most of the time when we talk about repellents and toxins, we're going to be talking about plants because plants are dope and they've decided to do crazy things over time. Most of the toxins we talk about are going to help prevent herbivory and predation. Okay. One thing we see is this little stem here with the white around it. Okay, this white milky sap. What this is made, or what this is from, is this is from a dandelion. Everyone's pulled a dandelion before. You've probably seen this white sticky substance created from the plant. What that is it's basically like a latex, okay, a rubber that is made from the plant that gums up the inside of a mouth that from something that's going to eat it. It's also quite bitter, um, so it tells things that are eating it to stop eating it and stop eating those things, so that it can survive. Okay, the less things die or the less it's eaten, the more it will be able to reproduce, make more seeds, more flowers, those kind of things. Sometimes what we see is predators can develop a resistance to these toxins, um, and different substances like that. So we can see a coevolution with this as well. Okay, as you can see with the camouflage, predators have to become smarter and know that, oh, this is actually a moth, not an owl. Um, and they will have to become smarter to survive. They have to co-evolve to be smarter. Okay. With repellents and toxins, they have to develop a resistance. That resistance developing is the coevolution between the two or the two organisms. Okay, so that's one way that species can interact. Another way is through competition. Okay, competition is pretty easy. There's two different ways competition can be done. Okay, competition, before we go there, is two organisms striving for the same limited resource. That limited resource can be a number of different things, but there are two types of competition. There is intra-species competition, which is members of the same species. Intra, kind of like intravenous or intravenous, it's like inside members within the same community, same species, or interspecific competition. Okay, so intraspecific, inside, interspecific, members of different species. Think of it like the interstate. Okay, the interstate goes through multiple states. Intra-state highways are going to be state highways. They're going to be things that are inside. So I-70 is an interstate highway. So they're going to be going between states. An intrastate highway is going to be like Highway 141, which goes out through Whitewater, through Delta, those kind of things. That is going to be a specific intrastate highway. Okay, so it goes within the same state. So interactions between the same species, there's a couple ways or a couple things why there would be interactions like this. Okay, competition like this. They're fighting over food, they're fighting over mates, they're fighting over territory. Okay, so as you can see, the top one got some kangaroos that are boxing. They're fighting over a mate, as you can see right there as well. That's a limited resource. So that is going to be one of the ways that they fight, or one of the reasons why they fight. You can see at the bottom one that they just killed a deer. These dogs, or these canine of some sort, have killed a deer, and they're fighting over who gets to eat it. Limited resource, right there. This process, this competition within species is very important, needed for natural selection. Okay, natural selection, what that is it's an evolutionary idea. And what it means is members with better adaptations will survive to mate, which will then pass on those better adaptations. Okay, so looking at the top one here with kangaroos, okay, members of that community of kangaroos that fight better than others will go on to mate and make babies that will fight better. Okay, and eventually they will develop and evolve over time to be more powerful and be able to fight better. That's how we've got kangaroos to be so strong as they are now. Same thing with the bottom one here. The the one who wins that fight gets to eat the deer. The other one will starve and will die. They will not be able to pass on their traits because they weren't able to fight hard enough to eat the deer and survive. Okay, so those who have stronger adaptations will survive to mate, to make more strong members of their community. Okay, these are stronger species overall. Another way that competition can be done is through inter-specific competition, members of different species. Okay, so we have a picture of the Darwin finches here. I'll explain it in just a second. But inter-specifics, they're members of different species, so they're only going to be fighting over two things: food or territory. They're not going to be mating because, again, they're different species. They can't mate with each other. Problem with interspecific species competition is that it can lead to extinction. Two species going after the same resource. Okay, so if we were to go back to this, kind of the bottom one here, say it was a lion and a wolf, or a hyena rather. Okay, a lion and a hyena. They're going to fight over the same deer, just like these dogs are. However, they're two different species. And if over time lions became more powerful than hyenas, we're going to lose hyenas. So can lead to extinction. Some ways that animals evolve to go around this extinction is they develop specific niches. Okay, and a niche is just a role an organism holds within a community. Okay, so a niche is going to be they eat a specific thing, like the Darwin finches here. Okay, so you can look at each of these finches. These are all finches. They're all from the same species. Okay, they're all finches, but they have different roles within their community which allow for them to eat different things based on their type of bills. So Charles Darwin, back in the 1800s, went out and he sailed to the Galapagos Islands and he found these finches. And he was looking at the differences between the finches, their physical differences leading to their overall differences in what they eat. So he saw that this kind of beak is a parrot-like beak. They ate fruit. Okay, they also lived within trees, just like these other finches that lived in trees, but these ones had different beaks, which allowed for them to eat different things. Okay, so we have all of these different types leading to different niches. So a niche is going to be this specific thing. So this large ground finch, its niche is that it's a seed-eating ground finch, but it has a crushing bill. Okay, so it has a bunch of these different, you can label a bunch of these different things to it to fill its niche. And you can see this in all sorts of different things, because a niche is just, again, a role an organism plays within a community. Okay? All right, so I'm going to pick up on symbiosis in the next video. Okay, so this was just the competition and predation. So I will see you in the next video for symbiosis. Thank you. Bye-bye.